And here we are, as promised. I'm joined by super special guest, Mr. Beesley, whose YouTube channel, it covers every sport, but more importantly, our beloved game, AFL. Good day to you. How are you doing, my friend?
Good day, mate. How's it going? I'm all good. I'm all good. Early in the morning, but I'm all good.
Yeah, time difference, it's weird. I've experienced it usually, but it's weird. Nighttime here, daytime there.
Yeah, morning for me. Woke up about half an hour ago to do this.
Well, obviously, for those who don't know, his link is in our description. He does excellent work. He's kind of the actual real-life Pom in England, and he's reacting to our game. So, honestly, go give him a sub. A few of you have asked, is there any other English guys who like the sport? He does. We're going to get to know you, though, Beesley. We're going to know what your sport's tick, and there's a lot of them going through your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your sporting journey. You love sport. How did you find sport, and what sports do you watch?
I think obviously being English, footy, soccer. Sorry, footy or soccer. Ever since I was a kid, always gone to, because I grew up in Rotherham. May not have heard of it. Place in Yorkshire. My dad always used to take me to the games when I was like 3-year-old, and had season ticket for them for years and years. And yeah, mainly soccer, but it's again, I've always been part of a family. Whatever sports on my TV, you come downstairs in the morning, soccer AM's on, or the rugby's on, whatever, and just absolutely love sports. So this is a perfect opportunity to learn more sports, I guess.
It is, yeah, and the viewers here will know Yorkshire because they know I'm a proud Yorkshireman.
Oh yeah, okay.
Born in Whitby, so Whitby was my whole. So I'm familiar with Rotherham, the Chuckle Brothers.
Yep.
If you don't know who they are, audience, Google them. They are like huge in the UK. Well, they were huge in the UK.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, so obviously I'm guessing we know that you support St Kilda, which I thought was weird because my wife, she's Australian, she's the biggest St Kilda fan. So how did you fall into St Kilda?
I just literally did a quiz. It was a case of that because I wanted a team to support, getting into it. Did a quiz online. It was quite a weird one. I think it was the is it NAB? Is that the sponsors of the AFL there?
Yeah.
I think it was a NAB quiz. And yeah, came out with Saints. It was actually weird because I did an NFL one as well, and I got the Saints on that as well. Like just out of the blue. So I got Saints of both. So obviously I'm just Saints through and through.
Oh, that's good. I mean, obviously you've chosen probably a good team to support as well because they've gone through a barren time. And they're really on the ascendancy now, a bit like my team, Carlton. Bit of nothing for 10 years, but now they're starting to come good. So good time to jump on the bandwagon, I'd say.
Yeah, I keep saying Premiership in 2021 easily.
I hope not, just because I have to live with my wife and we have stupid bets at the start of every year. And I looked like an idiot last year when I told her we'd finish above them. So
yeah, you had a nightmare last year, didn't you?
Yeah, we had a nightmare. We had a nightmare as well. And they were so good, so good. Now, obviously your soccer, footy, we'll call it, because I'm talking to an Englishman. Are you a big Rotherham fan, I'm guessing?
Yeah, well, actually, I don't actually live in England right now, which I think you may not know. I moved 4 years ago to Jersey. Have you heard of Jersey? Channel Islands, just off England. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to go to the games consistently over the past 4 years. But other than that, I had a season ticket for about 5 years before I moved. And I still, every Christmas when I go back to see family, every Boxing Day game, away or home, go to it and absolutely love it.
Yeah, well, the audience should know Jersey because that's the home of Road to Shore, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. Oh, no. He's Guernsey, I believe. He's Guernsey.
Oh, Guernsey.
Which is Channel Island next to it. But yeah, similar.
So obviously you've got a lot of American sports. What got you into American sports? How did you come by that?
Just really a little bit on Sky Sports. We get a little bit of NFL every so often, but it's just for curiosity. When obviously footy shut down for us English with COVID and stuff like that, just kind of like, okay, well, what else can I get into in this time when not many sports are happening? And just happened to come across it, and I thought it'd be a good idea to record my reactions to it, really, and really enjoyed it since.
It's genius, I've got to say, because I know that a lot of Australians here, we lost footy right at the start of the footy season, and it's very similar to the Premier League here. The world stops for the footy, and we have it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so literally that's everyone's lifestyle. So we started finding people find new sports. Like a lot of the audience here, they started watching darts.
Oh, I love a bit of darts. Absolutely love a bit of darts.
And that's great to have an English guy because it's hard to describe how good darts is, isn't it? As a
I love it.
Sport.
Yeah, it's weird at the moment, obviously, with no crowd. because obviously the crowd, like Ali Pali, the World Championships, that's what makes it the crowd. But I was watching my Masters yesterday. Actually, I was actually watching my Masters yesterday.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I mean, I think COVID has taught us that sport is so important to us as a whole. Because I've noticed now that a lot of English guys. I'm a massive Glasgow Rangers fan because I spent a lot of time there.
Okay.
When I was a kid, and they kind of were my team.
Yeah.
And it's weird now that a few Aussies have joined the Rangers forums just through me, and it's how everyone stays connected because we kind of miss it, don't we? Like, we're only allowed back recently. We're starting to be drip fed in Australia. I know it's a bit different in the UK, but it's crazy, isn't it, how much that's a big part of our lives.
Oh, it's so important. I did a reaction to, again, a bit off topic here, but it ties in. Trust me, it ties in. It was an ice hockey reaction. It was like the Miracle on Ice. Like, I think it was labelled America's like most important ever sports win ever. And all it was a game between USA and Soviet Union. But again, like, I won't bore you with all the details. But when you think about it as a whole, it just shows how important sport is, how it unites nations, and how it just takes your mind off other things, and it puts a smile on people's face, and I absolutely love it. But on COVID, fair play to you lot getting people in the stands. That's absolutely amazing, by the way. That's absolutely buzzing.
Oh, it's been a huge thing. I mean, obviously, like last year was, and it's this ties in with my next question. It's kind of weird. I get up ridiculously early in the morning to still watch the football. I've done that for 10 years, and obviously you have the same issue to watch St Kilda play. You've got to flip your life around to just watch a team.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's so weird watching, particularly English football minus crowds with the fake can noise.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. Don't get me wrong, I still watch it, but it's not the same. It really isn't the same.
There was a big thing in Australia because we have Optus Sports there, like Telstra. They're like BT would be to you guys. And they actually own the Premier League over here. So you've got to get a mobile phone contract to watch it. It's quite hard to watch the sport now. Because our version of Sky Sports lost the rights to it. Optus bought it in the first deal of its kind. And we actually have a time delay, and the audio was delayed in one of the games. The Spurs game, we actually heard the equaliser about 20 seconds from the commentary.
Yeah. Oh, it's got to be good.
So it's so weird because the can noise as well, it's so fake. And we found that to like an English guy, obviously the AFL is really crowd heavy. It's a weird atmosphere. It's not the same as Liverpool or things like that. Not the same as soccer, but it's very intense. And the can noise is so weird.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, again, for soccer, it really is weird. I think they're getting a bit better at it, like with timings, because you also have as well where a team would score and the guy obviously just hasn't pressed the button yet. So it's like 5 seconds later, he's finally realised they've scored and pressed the goal, and it's like. So I normally just go because obviously I don't know if you get the options without the fake noise.
Yeah, we get actual stadium noise.
Yeah, I normally go with that. So at least it's a bit interesting being able to hear the players and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was watching actually the Rangers game, the first Old Firm game, and we had a goal disallowed. And I actually ran from the living room here to celebrate.
Yeah.
Because it had gone in, but when I got back in, it was actually offside, and the guy had played the celebration noise, so I was all hyped, and I came in. I'm like, why is it 0-0? Like,
that's why we scored.
Like, my wife was like, oh, when you ran outside, they disallowed it. And I'm like, what?
Good, mate. Absolutely good.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. So, I mean, what's it looking like in the UK on the way of getting sporting venues back? I know you're getting absolutely destroyed by it, but is there any chance we'll see sport this year, do you reckon?
Well, obviously sports going on without fans. Again, I'm not actually living there, but from mates around that area and family, it kind of just seems like eventually, but at the moment, what the regulations are, I think it's if you're in because we're in a tier system, which I know you guys just don't have COVID, so you don't know what a tier system is. But I think if you're like tier 3 or above, you can only have 2,000 fans in. Tier 4, you can only have, tier 2 and below, you can have 4,000. And that's maximum. So whether you're no COVID cases in your area or not, you can only have 4,000. And then tier 3 and above, you can only have 2,000. But again, I don't want to get into it too much because everyone has their own opinion. But it doesn't make too much sense to me because in theory, Rotherham, I think we can have no fans at the moment because we're tier 4. But if we were COVID free, we could have 4,000 in a 12,000 seat stadium, and then Liverpool could also have 4,000 in a 60,000 seat stadium, and that's the maximum they're allowed. Doesn't really add up to me. Doesn't make too much sense.
It is very weird. I know we're having a big debate here at the moment. The AFL have just recently changed the pre-season around because there's been some scattered cases. So
okay.
They're quite heavy onto it. We've just actually drawn you guys. We didn't have you in the pre-season, but now we're playing St Kilda. They've kind of kept the states playing each other to avoid the transfer. But it is some of the COVID rules. Like, I know the Boxing Day test, it was like the first time we could have people at the event. And I was like, this is recipe for disaster for COVID. This, like, because everyone's going to go, everyone's going to mingle. And there was a few isolated cases from that. So it is very, like, slowly. I mean, for our opinion in Australia is we're probably not going to have full crowds. We've kind of accepted that.
Yeah.
Because we were totally locked down. Like, it was weird. We had a tier system like you, but Victoria, like, went totally locked down. That's where we are here in Melbourne. And we were, like, isolated from Australia. It was like a different country. No one could come in. No one could go out. Like, we weren't allowed outside for only an hour a day. It got really serious at one stage. So, like, we're kind of just excited the football's back and just
100%,
eager.
Mate. And you're still getting about, like, 20,000 and stuff like that at games, aren't you, this season? Which is still mental to think. I know, obviously, it's nowhere near full capacity, but it's still pretty mental to think we're getting maximum 4,000, 0 in those places, and you still got that many people.
It was great to see. It was great to see because the women's AFL has just started. AFLW is really big here. Our female game is getting really big. And it was great to see. I think it was 6,000, which was a record attendance for the opening game.
Nice.
And it's the first time people can pay for the game as well, because the women's game has been free since it started. So it was great to see. It's great to see that the sport's coming back.
Definitely, 100%. I'm keen for more. And like my audience knows, if anyone watching me, I will be doing watch-alongs for the games for St Kilda. Again, it's a nightmare, though, because you guys play weekdays, don't you? So it's like because you're a day ahead, you're even Friday nights is Friday morning for me when I'm working. So I can only fit a few games in. Select few, I guess.
It is tough because I know that there's a few of my English mates. They've started to see what the hell's football about. Dan's talking about Carlton. And I get the same complaint from them because last year we didn't have any primetime games. They were all on the weekend. So they could watch them. But this year we've got quite a few Friday games. So that means they'll be at work when we're playing.
Literally, nightmare.
Well, talking about something that's going to affect me the same way, the Euros are this year.
We hope. Fingers crossed. We hope. It's coming home. It's coming home.
It's coming home. So obviously I know that England, it's huge, isn't it? Like it's hard to describe to Australians how behind football internationally we get.
Yeah, it's one of them as well. Is again, same old fickle England supporter going up to the tournament. I'm already getting hyped for it, but after the last tournament, it's we're going to come last in the next tournament. No chance. Kind of admitting it, and then you get within a year, and it's like, we're going to win the Euros. We're going to win it.
It's so weird as well because Australian mentality when they go to like the World Cup and stuff is they're already pleased they're there.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Like, it doesn't matter if they lose all 3 group games. It's like we've made it. And like English people are very similar in the build-up. It's like, if we get out of the group, we've done well. But they'll beat Tunisia 2-0 game 1, and suddenly we're doing it.
We're the best team in the competition. Tunisia, they were second best. We won it.
It's so crazy. But I mean, how weird is that going to affect the Premier League? Because obviously you've got quite controversial in soccer. We've got the Qatar World Cup as well, haven't we? Which is balmy. We've got Euros moved. There's going to be quite an action-packed 2-year window, isn't there?
Well, I mean, I don't really know, to be honest, because I know in Qatar one, again, that's a weird one. They are doing it in December, aren't they?
Yeah.
Which again is going to be weird. So in the Premier, it's going to affect the Premier League because obviously the gap. It's going to be weird because obviously Christmas time is like the busiest period of the Premier League, isn't it? So that'll be quite interesting to see how that affects it. And again, I mean, I don't support any Premier League teams. I watch it week in, week out. So if the players get injured from the Euros, I'm not too bothered as long as England do well. A bit selfish on me. Like my team doesn't have any good players compared to that. So if they are struggling a little bit, as long as they do well for England, I don't mind.
Oh, I mean, that's the main thing. I mean, I actually am a weird Englishman because of my nan and because of spending my entire childhood there. I actually go for Scotland, so I am
Okay.
I am super stoked that we've made it.
Yeah, that was absolutely buzzing game as well. Didn't it go? Did it go to penalties to
Yeah,
get
it did. Yeah,
qualifying? But I remember watching that.
we do everything the hard way. So
Oh, it was the 89th minute header, wasn't it? On 90th
yeah,
minute header. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was a good game.
so I mean, I'm looking forward to us hopefully getting out of the group stage. So
You never know. You never know.
we've got
We
the
got
group
you
of
in the
death.
group, haven't we? We've got you in the group, haven't we?
Yeah, we've got the group
Yeah.
of death. We've got England, and it's a tough group. They've rigged it.
But you know what happened? You'll probably end up beating us and we'll be out the group, knowing our luck.
I was going to say, I mean, England are probably a good team to play in the group stages. It's usually when they're a bit more vulnerable in it. There's usually that token 1-0 defeat or 0-0.
Normally a first game and then we've got to do it the hard way, like you said. Oh, we've got to do it the hard way, win every game after it.
It is, yeah. It's weird as well because we talk about this a lot on the show as well. Golden generation. I was lucky enough to be brought up in that golden generation. England have been like perennial underachievers. They are the Geelong of the international world. They've had the superstars, but they never quite gelled.
Got there, yeah.
And what do you think of Southgate? He kind of divides every English person we speak to. He divides them, but he seems to have built a very good young core of a team.
If you asked me during the World Cup, I'd have absolutely loved him. Waistcoat Wednesday, couldn't get enough of that. But it's a tough one because don't get me wrong, I love that we're actually winning games, we're in games, but he's very defensive. I just wish he'd get rid of one of them CDMs and just because at the moment again, I know you say about golden generations, but for me, like growing up, I'm only 21, so I didn't get to see too much of the last golden generation. For me, this is our golden generation, and it's kind of like all our attributes are not really defending. That's kind of our weak point, and it's all attacking. But to fix our defence, we're taking away from our strong points. I'd rather us just go all out, go, okay, well, let's play to our strengths. If we lose, we lose, but at least we've given the game a go instead of sitting back against Tunisia and losing.
Yeah, I've got to say, I do watch England games and with a few of my mates on Skype, and I do giggle because I call him the Middlesbrough Mourinho. Because I always say, you look at that front four, particularly, you've got Kane, who, in my opinion, is the best striker I've ever seen since Shearer. The guy is deadly. Yeah. And Sancho is like, kind of, if you went to Audi and asked for Cristiano Ronaldo at 21, you'd get Sancho.
Yeah, love that.
And it's weird that he does play 11 men behind the ball when, like you say, going forward, that team should be able to score 6-7 goals.
Exactly. And it just limits us. And even against the so-called weaker teams, we do it. And it's just so frustrating to see. But if he gets results, you can't really complain. Like going into the World Cup, I know we had a bit of an easy run to this semi-final and we should have really won that semi-final. But you can't argue with a semi-final, can you? Even though it was a bit of an easy run, you can't argue with it.
I did actually think they were going to do it. But it was because he was like kind of you kept limping over the line, and then you started to win games. I was thinking this is written in the stars, that England win a World Cup when no one fancied them.
Yep, I was all ready because I wanted to watch the final with my dad in England. So I'd already called my boss as soon as we won that quarter final. I was like on my phone to my boss. I'd had quite a few beers. I don't think he was happy, to be honest, because it was a weekend. And I was like, can I have the final day off? Because I need to fly to England and watch it with my dad. And then obviously the gutting semi-final. So I didn't end up booking my flight in the end. But I was so keen. I thought we were going to win it.
It is crazy. It's hard to explain to Australians. It's great to speak to another Englishman about it because football, like to us in Australia, is really passionate. But I don't ever think it has the same thing as like we have in the EPL, because you've got Liverpool, you've got Man United, they hate each other, but it's weird to see these fans that wouldn't be in the stands together. England play, they unite. There's Leeds fans drinking with Man United fans, Man City with Man United, Liverpool United. It's a big love fest.
Oh, 100%.
And how good is it going to work on Monday when England win?
Oh, I see. It feels so good. And also, during the World Cup, sometimes when the England game's on, you get to put it on your screen at work, and it's like everyone in the office is loving it as well. And you can hear like down the road the pubs going mental when England score as well. It's such a great feeling, it really is. And like I said, Liverpool's, Man United, Leeds, Man United, they're like any other day of the year. They're just like, nah, absolutely hate them. Not having a drink with them, absolutely hate them. As soon as England's playing, we're all one.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. Like I was telling a story a couple of weeks ago when I was interviewed, and I was saying that Scott Brown is like the most hated person in the world to me. But like, I don't mind celebrating his goal if he does it for Scotland, but it's when he doesn't, can't stand him. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing because I bring that hatred to AFL. So I can't like an Essendon player. I can't like a Richmond player. They're our rivals. And Australians have got this wonderful thing of separating their hatred to appreciate it, which I find quite beautiful because us soccer folk, we can't do that.
Oh, no, not 100%. And also, so in the AFL, again, I've never actually watched a game live. I'm so keen this season because I only really got into it a few months ago. Mixed crowds, isn't it, in the AFL?
Yeah, one of my first games was final Richmond versus Carlton, and then hatred rivals. It's probably like Manchester United, Liverpool.
Okay.
And I took my seat, and I was sat next to two Richmond people, and I was waiting for someone, and I was actually worried because I was like, maybe I'm in the wrong area. So like, I went over and I thought, well, I'm English. They'll probably hear my accent and realise that if I am in the wrong area. And they were like, oh, no, you sit down. Who are you going for? And I was like, Carlton. And they were like, oh, good luck, but we'll batter you. And I'm like, if this was England and I'd sat next to a Celtic fan
and said, I'm courageous. Said it.
I was like, I would have been carried out in a box.
Literally,
No, it's mixed crowds. And it's a wonderful thing. It's a weird thing because I find it weird now because I'm still in that segregation mentality. Yeah. But it's kind of beautiful because you get a bit of banter and it makes the game.
Yeah, I had it as well because obviously rugby is mixed crowd, isn't it? No matter where you are. And it was kind of similar because I went to the Six Nations. I think it was 2015, England versus Scotland, and it was the same thing. Just sat down. Obviously, you can have beers in the stands as well in rugby, which is weird. So everyone's just absolutely getting hammered, and I'm sat next to this Scottish person. I'm like, what's going on here? Like normally, I'd be absolutely chanting horrible stuff to the other team, but instead, I'm sat next to him.
Yeah, it is weird because I've been to many England-Scotland rugby games and many England-Scotland football games, and it's a total difference because. Completely. And I think that's what makes sport brilliant. AFL's brilliant because you can go down and there is a little bit of fun. It never goes too far.
Yeah.
It's more like mates.
No, yeah, that's great. But when you can have banter, like it's great to have mates who support other teams because when you win, there's no better feeling just absolutely in the group chat ripping them as a joke and they can do the same to you. And then, but again, teams do take it too far. I remember I was Rotherham versus Millwall. I think it was just about 2014, 2013 or something like that. And we actually scored a goal to relegate them from the Championship. There were seats flying everywhere. They were trying to get in our stands. It's just like every other sport can get away with mix, and like, how's this happening here? But definitely goes too far.
Millwall as well, probably the most dangerous of the fan bases, aren't they? They have the reputation.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, before we let you go, we always ask you some controversial questions. So I suppose with an English guy, we've got to settle the debate. Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi?
Oh, tough one, Shane. I'll go Messi just because I love his talent. Don't get me wrong, Ronaldo, dedicated, hard-working, but just for natural talent, I'll go Messi.
And who's your favourite St Kilda player? Who is the poster boy for you?
Okay, again, I'm still learning, so I'm going to go with Steele. Just because I've reacted to him. A lot of people have told me he's up and coming, a fantastic player, so I'm going with Steele.
Absolute superb player he is, Jack Steele. He's actually my wife's favourite player at the moment as well. So
oh, is he? Okay, in a good book then.
He's your version of Patrick Cripps for us. He's like your best midfielder, and he's getting better and better every year. He actually beat Cripps one-on-one last year, so he's got a target on his back for us Carlton fans.
I bet that one hurt for you.
It did hurt. It did hurt, especially in this house. I got a lot of abuse. And who's going to win the Ashes? We know the English batting is on fire, bowling attack not so strong. Australia's batting attack killing. He's dying, but their bowling attack super strong.
Well, I don't know because again, Joe Root finally back in form. I don't know if you watched any of the Sri Lanka series. Joe smashed that. It'll be interesting to see how we go against India. I will always say England's going to win the Ashes because it was gutting when you beat us the other year. But, well, we drew, didn't we? But you retained the Ashes.
Yeah.
But I'll go with England. And again, I think I would say our bowling's probably better than our batting at the moment, just because our batting's so inconsistent. You always get English collapse. And I absolutely hate the sight of Steve Smith and Labuschagne. So with your batting.
I've got to say, Australia at the moment, we are suffering. We're trying to get that top order happy.
Yeah,
they're having a massive opener crisis.
Now,
yeah, it's an opener crisis at the moment, which I do support England in every other sport but the soccer. So I'm excited about the Ashes because.
So you go for England in the Ashes, are you?
Yeah, I always stick up for them. So it's always good being in this country because I get abuse or I get to give it out.
Yeah, you don't get to give it out that often though with England's batting. Like,
I've got to say, since I moved over here, it's actually England have been very good at cricket, so it's actually been really nice. So
I bet it was nice in the One Day International World Cup. I bet that when we absolutely battered them in the semis, that must have been a nice feeling.
Yeah, and then they paid us back because of the drawn final, as they call it. You know, that we changed the rules.
We won, didn't we? I mean, they technically did get it wrong. I will admit that, but a win's a win. They're not going to remember that in 50 years.
You see, my excuse was this: we invented the game, so we're allowed to edit the rules to our benefit. It's one of the benefits. It's like when you play properly. Like
if you have a banker, you always win. It's the exact same.
Well, thank you very much, Beesley. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Thanks for having me, mate. Really appreciate it.
And honestly, everyone, please like and sub to him. It's absolute fantastic content. We saw KSI's attempt. It was poor. Beasley's is top notch. Get on it.
I appreciate it, mate. Not quite at that level yet, but we'll get there.
Cheers, guys.